Fortune magazine and Forbes. That's how I learned everything about business, was from Fortune magazine and Forbes. And I started reading everything I could get my hands on. And the toughest part was not going and hanging at the bar, not playing sports, not talking sports, not getting out with my buddies and having all that back and forth that I was so comfortable with and I was so used to. And I'm very athletic and as the biggest guy, I was the best at all of these things. And so I was comfortable in that spot. And I had to learn to be uncomfortable. I had to learn to get out of my own way and understand that it's okay not to have all of the answers. It's not an affront to my manhood, right? Again, I'm a kid from the streets. How dare you? I had to understand that that's not what people were doing when they're correcting you or when they're teaching you. And so I shut up and listened. And then I joined a CEO group. I got a mentor. And these guys were all in their 50s when I was 30 years old. And I just sat back in the CEO group once a month and I just listened. And then the mentor would come in. He was a retired Fortune 500 CEO and would just, I mean, Terrain, he would just hammer me, right? I got to where I didn't even look forward to him coming in, because if I didn't take his advice or do the things that I told him I would do, or we agreed, thought made sense, man, he would just hold me accountable. I always say this about a mentor: find one that pisses you off. If your mentor makes you happy, you sit around and it's all kumbaya, you got the wrong guy. You need that guy that's going to jump you when you do that thing that you need to be jumped for. And so I found this group, and that group for the next 20 years, and like I said, we started the first business at 28, it went under. The next business I started and financed myself at 29. By 33, I was a millionaire. And so the growth was super fast, and these guys were instrumental. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to answer that long-windedly, but I would just say to the younger guys, it's even more so today. Shut up and listen. You don't know anything. No matter, there's one truth in the world that I really struggled to learn. And that is that the older guys used to tell me when I was a kid, because I was running this big company and I was all full of piss and vinegar and just ready to take on the world. And they'd tell me, no, you don't know anything until you're 40. There's no way to know enough until you're 40. Man, it used to piss me off. And there's one certainty now as a 52-year-old that I can tell you unequivocally that you don't know anything until you're in your late 30s, early 40s. You just haven't got the amount of experience that I have, right? The database, I always say, it's full, and I can pick pieces from it and bring it together in certain situations in a way that you just can't do when you're 25 or 28 years old. And I don't care. Growing up hard is not a substitute for experience. It's an added experience, but we think, I grew up hard, so I somehow jump in the line because I know more about how to live on the street than the guy who didn't grow up hard. And the reality is many times we have to deprogram and learn lessons even more difficult than what the other people have to learn who maybe had it a little bit easier. So that's what I would say to the young guys, but based on my own experience. That epiphany that said, shut up and listen, get out of your own way, realize you don't know anything. It is a superpower to realize you don't know anything. Knowing that you don't know anything is a superpower. And the ones who perfect that superpower by being comfortable being quiet, by being comfortable asking questions that even sound stupid, right? Only dumb people don't ask dumb questions. So even that dumb question, you're comfortable asking stupid questions. You're comfortable. This is the thing I always say. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're telling me. I know this is the third time, but maybe we need to get a crayon because I'm not getting it. So, but I want to learn what you're telling me. I'm just not getting it. And it'll be 3-4 times. And in my head, I'm going, dude, just shut up. Listen, pay attention. Why aren't you understanding? But I just keep asking, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me. So that understanding that being wrong, understanding that not understanding, knowing what you don't, that you don't know is a superpower. It's not a handicap.